All right, so let's continue on and let's now do a confidence interval for P1 minus P2. Okay, so if you go to page 625 there are, in the green box, there are conditions for constructing a confidence interval about the difference in proportions. If you look about it, it's stuff that you already know, things that you would have anticipated. So the data that come from two independent random samples or from two different groups and a randomizer have to be random, less than 10%, right? You can't oversample. And the large counts for both samples have to be satisfied, okay? Nothing surprising here, right? So let's go to the example. It says, do you prefer brand names? A Harris Interactive survey asked independent random samples of adults from the United States and Germany about the importance of brand names when buying clothes. Of the 2,309 adults surveyed, 26% said brand names are important compared to 22% of the 1058 German adults surveyed. That PV, the true proportion of the PU, let the true proportion of the US adults who think brand names are important when buying clothes, and PG, the true proportion of all German adults who think brand names are important when buying clothes. Check if the conditions for calculating the confidence interval for PU minus PG is met. So we have in the US, we have PU. We're going to get a PU hat here, and it was a random sample, less than 10%, right? Because how many did we survey? 2309. Small is 2309, and we have a lot more than 23,000 adults in the United States. So the 10% is met. PU was what? What was PU? 26%, so it's going to be 0.26. So let's do the NP is equal to 2309 times 0.26, 2309 times 0.74, and both of these are obviously greater than 10. So this is N1 minus P. So all three conditions are met for the United States. Let's look at the Germany. For Germany, it was 0.22, I believe, was it? 0.22. And we had a PG hat. And our N here was going to be what? 15.10. Okay. So it's a simple random sample. So random sample is good. 1058 is less than 10% of adults in Germany. And then let's do the large counts. And so times P is 1058 times 0.22, and N1 minus P is going to be equal to 1058 times 0.78. And these are obviously both greater than 10. Okay? So that's how we would check the conditions. Flip the page. And now we're going to do the actual constructing of the confidence interval. So, it's the same as before, right? The same as before, same as we did the other one, right? Our mean is going to be P1 minus P2, right? And then we're going to add this guy, and then we're going to do P1, 1 minus P1 over N1, P2, 1 minus P2 over N2. This is our confidence interval, right? Plus or minus, right? I'm missing plus or minus here. And how is this controlled? How do we find the Z star? What is the Z star? What is this called? Braden. Kyle. Eva. Somebody. What is this called?
Critical value.
It's the critical value, right? It's the critical value, right? And critical value depends on what? Depends on the confidence interval you're going to use. I mean, the confidence level, right? Whether it's 90%, 95%, 99%, right? Remember we did the 0.96, 2.56. These numbers ring a bell? 95%, 99%. Okay. So you're going to be just using those. That's all you're going to be using, right? It's just like you did before with any other confidence interval. Okay. All right. So actually, let's see if we can actually do one. Let's go to page 628. And let's see if we can do this. 620 example 628. Alia, read the problem for us.
Patients with lower back pain are often given non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like naproxen, is that how you say it? I don't know, to help ease their pain. Researchers wondered if taking Valium along with the naproxen would affect pain relief. To find out, they recruited 112 patients with severe lower back pain and randomly assigned them to one of two treatments, naproxen and Valium or naproxen and placebo. After 1 week, 39 of the 57 subjects who took naproxen and Valium reported reduced lower back pain, compared with 43 of the 55 subjects in the naproxen and placebo group.
All right, thanks. Okay. So they assigned two different groups, right? One group had got the naproxen and the Valium, and the other one got the naproxen and the placebo. Right? Okay. So after 1 week, the 39 out of the 57 who took the naproxen and Valium, so we got 39 out of 57. The other one was what? We got 43 out of, what was it? 55? This is if they were given the placebo. Okay. It's kind of weird, right? It seems that the people who got the placebo have felt a lot less pain than the people who actually got the Valium. The effect of the placebo can never be underestimated. Okay, all right. A, construct and interpret a 99% confidence interval for the difference in the proportion of the means. Okay, so you're going to have P1 minus P2, we're done right there. Plus or minus, it is a 99%, so it's going to be 2.576, right? And then, okay, before we even do this, what is the first thing we actually have to do, right? We're going to have to do the state, plan, do, and conclude, right? So the state is what we're going to do. We're going to do a confidence interval of the difference in proportions, okay? All right, so it's actually a two prop Z test. It's a two proportion Z test. So we're gonna do this guy minus this guy. So, and then we're gonna have to check all the initial conditions, right? Both of them were random samples. And how many people were there all together? There were 112 patients. So we did a sample of 112 out of all the people who have lower back. I'm sure there are many, many, many millions of people who have lower back pain. So it's less than 10%. Okay, and then we have to do the large counts. So the large counts for the first one was what? What's the large counts for the first one? Oh, we had 39. So we had 39. All right, this is it. And it's because this is P, right? So this is P times N, right? Which would be 39 greater than 10. Then 57 times, this would be what? 18. That would be 1 minus P, right? So all greater than 10. over here is the same thing, right? You're gonna get 43 and 12. They're both greater than 10. So we said we checked that the large conditions or large counts works for both populations. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do the do part. We're in the do part. We did the state, we did the plan. Now we're in the do part. The do is going to be P1 is 39 over 57 times 18 over 57 over N1 was 57 plus 43 over 55, 12 over 55 over 55. Okay. And if you do all this, you're going to find it is negative 0.312116. Okay. So that's the confidence interval. Okay, so what that means, so let's go ahead and now conclude, right? When we conclude, we're going to say what? We are 99% convinced that the true difference in proportions of the lower back pain between giving the Naxopren, what was it called? The, what is it called? Naproxen and Valium, in between the naproxen and the placebo is between this negative 0.312 and 0.116. Okay. So that's that. So B, based on the confidence interval in part A, what conclusion would you make about whether taking Valium along with naproxen and affects the pain relief? Because the interval includes the 0, okay, it means that there is no difference, right? As a plausible value, we don't have convincing evidence that taking Valium along with naproxen affects the pain relief, right? Because if it's 0, what does that mean? It's no difference, right? Doesn't matter whether you were given the naproxen and the Valium versus a naproxen and nothing. Okay. All right. So that's that. And now let's go to page 629. There's a technology corner. Of course, your calculator is able to do this. Okay, all this stuff that we did right now. Okay, so if you do that, if you want to look at that, you can go and look at that on page 629. It gives you the X1, 39, N1 is 57, X2 is 43, N2 is 55, and then you have to give them the 0.99 as the confidence level, and it'll spit out the confidence interval for you. Okay, flip the page, and oh, no, that's it. We are done for the day. We're done. Tomorrow, on Thursday, when we're in school, we will talk about the significance testing because we just talked about the confidence intervals, right? We will then